Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Full Quota podcast. My name is Mpho and I've got my co-host here, Tim Delace. We're in our interview series as the season goes on. You know, last year we brought you a couple of interviews of the players who are going to be playing in the coming domestic season, and some of the players who played in the last one. And names in around South African cricket. So we're going to be continuing with that. Tim, how are you doing? I know we're recording this on the Monday of the auction. You've seen a couple of names go through. What are you thinking right now? We're going to have a conversation about that later in the week. But yeah, it's a massive cricketing week in terms of news.
Yeah, look, it's huge. It's huge. We will get into it. There've been some really big buys for a couple of guys that we knew that we're going to do well. We're sort of at the moment we're sort of waiting for the sort of fringe players to see if they all get picked. But it's certainly good to see. It's good to see South African cricket on the front foot and in the limelight for a good reason, for a change.
Yes. So you promised the people an interview, Tim. So who do you have this week and who are we talking to?
We are talking to another Dolphins player. I promise I'm not a massive Dolphins fan. It just
Well, you're
happens
wearing
to be
black,
that
so
it just happens to be a Dolphins man. He's just come back from the UK, so it won't be too difficult to guess. He played county cricket there, and he was exceptional. He averaged 59 for Essex in this last summer in the Royal London One Day Cup. Really making a name for himself now, and I'm sure he'll want to kick on in this upcoming season. So it's Grant Roelofsen.
is the man who is the bane of my existence as a Lions supporter is coming on right now. Hi, Grant. How are you
I-
doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you guys?
No, we're good. We're good. You see, Tim likes to bring like Dolphins players to make me feel bad because I'm a Lions supporter. But I remind him sitting in the Western Cape, Western Province hasn't done much over the past couple of years. Um, first things first. Normally, we like to ask our guests all this question. How did you get into cricket? I know you went to Cares. I went to St. John's, so please let's not. He also likes to do that. Mark's from Saints, so I was like, okay, this is weird. But anyway,
You guys
how
are
did you?
bitches.
How did you get into the game?
Like everyone, I suppose. Kind of just playing in the garden, around a braai. We used to do quite a bit of camping when we were younger, and the dads used to play a bit of cricket or rugby or whatever it might be. And obviously, I just picked up a bat and a ball and started playing with them. So it escalated when I got to primary school. I think, if I'm not mistaken, most of my friends played cricket, so I kind of just gravitated towards them. And yeah, I suppose it sparked from there.
Okay.
You as we've discussed, you went to Cares. You were coached by somebody who now is a international coach. He's now a coach and then at the Netherlands. So tell us about Ryan Cook. What was he like as a coach? What was he like? Was he important to your early stages of your career?
Definitely. He was probably a little bit too good of a coach for schoolboy cricket, which you can imagine. But yeah, he definitely sparked a professional belief in me as a cricketer. I think he probably gave me the tools to turn cricket into a career. And then I suppose also the belief that he showed in me probably helped as well. When you have such a good coach, kind of believe in you and almost whisper the right things to you that you can actually play this game. Probably believe in yourself a little bit more. But yeah, he was really awesome at that age. To be exposed to a coach like that is not a lot of people get that. So
Yeah, I know you speak about Ryan Cook making you, well, obviously giving that belief that you could go professional. Were there any other mentors along the way that kind of helped you make you realize that actually now I can start making money out of this?
A fair few. I mean, obviously there were a lot of guys that came through the care system, just itself, that I had the privilege of playing with at school. So that kind of makes you believe that maybe you could also be like that. I played my club cricket for Old Edwardians, so obviously you play quite a bit with Ryan's brother Stephen, who is I would like to think relatively close to, and he was obviously a really good mentor with me growing up. So you kind of rub shoulders with these sort of players, and they kind of inspire you, I suppose.
That's good.
There does seem to be quite a something happening in that area where a lot of guys they start off well, they do well, but because the line setup and the Gauteng setup and just generally is so powerful, they do tend to have to go find pastures new. But what do you think it is that makes that setup, that area, such a good place for a breeding ground of young cricketers? Because it really does seem to be something.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a testament to the coaching. I mean, like I said, I had Ryan Cook as my school coach. So, it's probably a testament to something like that. It's obviously a fiercely competitive environment with the amount of cricketers as well, which I think breeds excellence. It's obviously a very strong union and has been for many years, and will be for many years to come. But yeah, I mean, a lot of players do kind of find themselves missing in that system or leave. I mean, obviously, I was one of the players that got an opportunity elsewhere. But I did get my grounding from that environment. So, that I think a lot of players do go that sort of route. And because it's such a strong environment, strong system, obviously your foundations are very good.
I know the Cook family has helped many a few South African cricketers along the way. And even like the old Eds, like they produce a lot of cricketers, not only for Lions but like across the country. I think Gauteng up here, like it's a massive pipeline of cricketers, and the competitiveness that I'm sure you experienced in high school must have been quite a lot. But when you were thinking about obviously making that step, SA schools in around that time, and obviously you're looking for what's next, where do I go? What was your thinking in and around that to actually move to the Dolphins? Because a lot of, as you say, there's a lot of cricketers out here, and like what was the thinking when you decided to actually let me go somewhere else?
Well, I mean, obviously, I did play a couple of seasons at the Strikers. Which, like I say, obviously laid a great foundation into my cricket. And then I suppose there was just kind of the opportunity at Inland, and I probably saw a quicker route into franchise cricket, which is not always the right thing to do. I mean, I'm a strong believer going through the system. I just feel like it makes you a stronger cricketer. You don't just get thrown in straight away. But yeah, I mean, it's probably that. Probably just saw a quicker way into franchise cricket, and a quicker way into that stage. So obviously the opportunity presented itself, and so I was willing to move for it.
I heard you say, I think it was an interview that you did. I think it was just before you went to Essex. You said that you spoke about the move from the Lions to the Dolphins, and you said that Shane Berger played a part. Now Shane, as we all know, is another one who's now gone on to be international coach. So you're racking up your international coaches here. Obviously, Shane is at Scotland. What what was it that you liked about him? Because you thrived, at Inland before you went to the Dolphins. You really did thrive. Your numbers for Inland were very, very impressive.
I think he was just a good bloke. To be honest, I think we got along well. Outside of cricket as well, and we probably connected quite nicely. Like that's our sort of player coach sort of relationship was really good. And I mean, he's a fantastic coach. Obviously, he's doing really well with Scotland now. And hopefully he furthers his coaching career because he really does deserve it. He produced a lot of results with Inland, which is, I mean, not an easy environment to sort of coach in, especially then. Obviously now the union's changed quite a bit. But back then, obviously, it was maybe a bit more difficult for him in terms of players and, all that sort of stuff. So it shows his character as a person as well. And I think that's probably how we got on so well, as our relationship off the field was really good as well.
Awesome.
I think coaches are really important, Grant. But your jump. So how was the jump? How did you find the jump between, let's say, even playing for the Strikers up until play and Inland to playing actually franchise cricket? Did you obviously, how did you find it? Everyone else has a different journey, but it's actually quite interesting to find out how you saw that.
I mean, obviously, it is a big difference. Obviously, that system has now changed. It was quite a big difference, but I played quite a fair amount of first-class cricket before I made my first-class debut for the Dolphins. So I kind of knew what I was about. What was I, probably 22-ish? So I probably had a slightly better understanding of who I was as a person as well. So to walk into the Dolphins environment, as obviously nervous to come in and whatever because you're a new guy, but it wasn't like a daunting. I was scared to be there. Maybe testament to those guys as well who like sort of made me feel comfortable within the team. But yeah, I kind of walked in and kind of felt like I'll be fine at this level. I won't. Obviously, I mean, cricket is hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but I kind of felt like I think my skill set will be fine at this level, and hopefully I can perform and play a fair few years for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and you've been very good with the Dolphins so far. That's certainly, especially the white ball formats. You really have done exceptionally well. The other thing I've noticed when I was researching for this, you said that what's very important to your game is the mental side. You said that the mental side is very, very important. So you look up to people like Graham Smith and Steve Waugh. Do you think what is it about that's so important to you, and why do you think you have it? You often get guys that they go straight in from school into first class cricket, and then they have to go back to the semi-professional like we had for 2 or 3 seasons before they find their feet again. Whereas you seem to be, you've had your grounding, and you seem to be very much, not comfortable, but you seem to be very happy with where you are as a cricketer and as a person at the moment. Why do you think that is in terms of your growth as a cricketer?
I think it's kind of just I kind of just want to keep on learning about cricket, and I think that's probably stood me in good stead this far. I mean, obviously, I'm far off the end article of a cricketer. I don't think anyone could ever be the end article of a cricketer. So as long as I keep on learning, whatever steps I may jump, or whatever teams I may get into or play for, kind of just trying to learn from the guys that are in the team, obviously the management, and yeah, just trying to sort of further further myself as a cricketer. Maybe not necessarily skill-wise, but if there's one small tactical move that you could change in your cricket, or something mentally that maybe gets you a little bit more in the zone, or gets you ticking a little bit more, then if I can pick that up from someone else, or whoever's around the setup at that stage, then obviously that adds to my cricket, and that's kind of the way I think about it.
Yeah, that's actually quite insightful, because a lot of people tend to forget that there's a mental aspect to all of this. Is and if you look at all the other different guys and how they prepare themselves, especially in the longer formats of the game, it's a bit of a you have your own way of going about this. Everyone's got processes, and so from your perspective, from a batting perspective, how have your processes changed throughout? Like when you go out into the crease from the longer format, especially the 4-day game, how do you go about mentally preparing for that?
I mean, things like training are very important to me. Not necessarily training like hitting the ball well or whatever. I think sometimes that can be a little bit out of your control. You might get conditions that are not great, or the bowlers might not be on song, or whatever they can, or maybe they're too good for you on the day or whatever. So not that aspect, but if I can train productively and train probably kind of what I'm going to get in the game, what I'm going to face out in the middle, then if I can see that, then it won't be a shock to me when I'm out in the middle. So that's kind of what I try and do. I mean, a lot of guys obviously have their own routes and whatever. I do a lot of visualization, those sort of things. I'm quite lucky that I've played a few seasons now, so I've faced sort of everyone on the circuit. I've obviously kept all our bowlers and all that sort of stuff. So I can actually see kind of what they're trying to do to me, and how they're trying to get me out, how they're trying to bowl to me, etc. So even without training, you kind of know what's coming your way. And try and visualize, counter-attacking that.
Yeah, that I've heard that many times. That not everybody uses it, but they talk about how important visualization is. The guys that do it, like I've spoken to Wayne Parnell, like obviously a bowler, but he says he goes through visualization techniques of his own, and it's a huge help for him. Okay, let's move forward to this last season. Like, you did well, particularly in the white ball format. Season finishes. Were you always going to go to the UK? Was that always the plan? And play club cricket there? And then, how exactly did you get to play for Essex? What happened? Who picked up the phone to who? And how was that experience?
First of all, the experience was awesome. Just to play in another country and experience their conditions, their culture, the team dynamics. I learned a lot from being over there, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity, because that's something I can say I've done, and hopefully can do more. And yeah, I suppose that's the best part of cricket, is the traveling aspect, and where I might bring in terms of memories and stuff like that. Going over to the UK was a bit of a late decision. Obviously, I was kind of waiting on sort of SAA selections, whatnot, which obviously I didn't get into. So I kind of felt like I had a lot more cricket in me. Obviously, last season I spent most of the season out injured, so I didn't get a whole lot of cricket last season. So I kind of felt like I'd go over and, even if it was club cricket, just go play. I didn't really want to spend a winter here running and chilling. And so it's over, and got a fair few amount of runs for my club side over there, Billericay.
I'm just going to pause you there. A fair few, he made 177 of 131 on his debut. And I think it was 24 hours after arriving in the country, I think.
A modest case boy. A modest case boy. The first one I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, very nicely in the summer. Obviously, it was a really nice club to play for. So yeah, I mean, I can't really be too disheartened at how the summer went. So while I was over there, obviously the runs that I was getting kind of caused a little bit of chatter, I suppose, amongst the Essex circle. Obviously, I hold an ancestral visa, so it's quite easy for me to play that side, not needing to have played international cricket first, which played beautifully into their hands. Obviously, the 100 was on at the same time, so they obviously lost a fair amount of players out of their squad. So they were kind of looking for an overseas, and I was right there, playing and doing all right. So yeah, the call came, and got a really good opportunity, and a really, really cool opportunity.
And you took that with aplomb. How is playing that side in that Royal One Day Cup? Because you've played for our domestic One Day Cup and you've done really well there. You just was it like a little bit easier how the wicket's playing there? And obviously you took the step up from club cricket, but from that side. But how did you find this quality of cricket compared to ours?
Yeah, I mean, much of the same. Obviously, they're a very talented nation. Obviously, their brand of cricket is a little bit different to ours here. Not vastly, but it is a little bit different. Obviously, they are a nation that's just won a World Cup. So white ball cricket's very important to them. 50-over cricket in particular is very important to them. And their local players play a very strong brand of cricket, which was good to experience. I mean, obviously South Africa are no far behind. I don't think we're behind at all, to be honest. Obviously our cricket here is very strong, and we have immensely talented guys over here. So, but it's professional cricket. Whichever nation you go to, it's going to be strong. It's going to be good cricket. Obviously their conditions are slightly different to here, which obviously plays a little bit of a role. And it's a good experience as well to play in their conditions. So yeah, I suppose those are kind of the differences. But other than that, I mean, obviously the cricket's always going to be strong wherever you go.
It's good to hear.
Yeah, indeed. No, I don't want to repeat myself, but Wayne Parnell says exactly the same things that you say. He says the cricket there, white ball cricket there, is extremely strong. Not that ours is weak as such. It's just it's a little bit more intense. That's what he seems to, which I think you are alluding to here as well. That it's quite, because they are so good, that it's very important that they play a sort of an attacking brand of white ball cricket. Yeah. Then moving on, if you look towards this coming season, you've played now in the different formats and the different setups that South Africa's had. So we've had the professional and the semi-professional. You've played on all of that. We've now moved into the two-divisional system. Okay, it's only one season, but what are your overall thoughts of having played a little bit of the two-divisional system? What are your overall thoughts of the way that it's gone so far?
I've not really given too much thought about how the system is kind of run and whatnot. Obviously, it's opened up a lot of doors for a lot of players having this system, which I think is great. Obviously, a lot of talent coming through because of the system change now. So yeah, I mean, that's obviously a pleasing factor for Cricket South Africa.
So looking at obviously the coming season, what are your do you set yourself goals at the beginning of the season to say this is the average that I need or this is the amount of runs that I need? And also what's your favorite format that you like playing?
No favorite format. Really want to be good at all of them. I think that's important. And yeah, I mean, obviously I work hard at all three formats and would like to be an all format cricketer. In terms of goals, I'll definitely set some goals. Obviously I've just gotten back from the UK, so trying to sort of take a little bit of a break from cricket. And then I'll obviously jump back into it this week, leading up to that first T20 comp. So I'll definitely sit down and have a thought about it, what I want to achieve this season. I am very goal driven, so yeah, I'll definitely be doing it in the near future.
In terms of coaches, I mean, you've had a lot of good coaches at your upbringing. You've gone through, you know, as we've discussed already. Everyone that we talk to tells us that Imran Khan is exceptional. That the feeling around the Dolphins camp is a good one. It's a happy one. Can you give us a sort of an overall opinion on how things are at the Dolphins? What's it like working with Imran Khan? You know, you've worked with Shane Berger as well, so you know what are the differences perhaps between the two of them?
I mean, obviously they're very different sort of people, but yeah, I mean, my relationship with Imi is very good. Obviously, he's a brilliant coach, and his results speak for themselves. Which is, I mean, it's obviously brilliant for him. He came into the Dolphins setup and made a difference straight away, which is awesome. And I've been lucky enough to play in those teams. In terms of our environment, obviously we continually working on our environment and the culture and brand of cricket we want to play. But we're a strong unit, a tight bunch. Obviously, we've made some new signings going into the new season, which is quite exciting. Some young talent, some more experienced guys. So a good mix. So it should hopefully be a good season for us, and you know, hopefully win a few trophies would be nice.
Winning. Well, yeah, I wouldn't want the Dolphins to win a few trophies, but we wish you all the best. But it's an interesting one because I think the setup at the Dolphins is so amazing. I think it's because obviously with cricket it was always like Lions and the Titans and the Dolphins came and everyone was like, oh wow, who are these guys? And they were playing a brand of cricket on a very slow pitch at Kingsmead. How is that pitch? What's your favorite pitch to bat on?
Ooh,
Chelmsford.
I don't think I really have a favorite. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Cape Town
Okay.
for the stadium scenery. But yeah, I mean, obviously Durban's a beautiful stadium. We're very lucky with the facilities that we have. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the wicket, obviously we play a specific brand of cricket at the Dolphins, and it's obviously a coastal wicket, so it's going to be a little bit slower. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously still very nice to bat.
What about your wicket keeping? Do you think long term you might just become a batsman, or is wicket keeping a very important part of who you are as a cricketer?
Yeah, it is very important. I don't want to lose that side of my cricket. Obviously, my main role in most of the teams that I play is batting. Um, but I mean, keeping is just an awesome thing to have. And I mean, I hope going forward teams do recognize that my keeping is as good as my batting. Obviously, it is something that I would like people to, sort of acknowledge, or if I can showcase that. So it is very important to me. I work very hard on my keeping. So hopefully, yeah, like I say, I wouldn't like to lose it. I would like to keep both, obviously.
Well, it's always handy to have that wicket keeping, especially with the world moving towards this more shorter format of the game, and everyone looking for a second skill set to try and cover a lot of not necessarily gaps, but to give your team a lot of variety. Um, Obviously, South Africa is going into this whole new way of cricket where Test cricket no longer is the pantheon like it was when we were growing up, and is now moving towards T20 and ODIs. And I know you said you enjoy all three formats, but do you have any thoughts about the movement across to more of a colored clothing type of cricket, a white ball cricket, rather than red ball cricket? Do you always harbor ambitions to be a red ball cricketer for South Africa?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said earlier, I mean, I want to play all formats, be an all format. Um, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of hype around white ball cricket, and rightly so. I mean, it's obviously where the attraction is, or the theatre. But I mean, I think there's still a very strong emphasis on red ball cricket in South Africa. Obviously, our test side has played some really good cricket leading up to the England series, which shows the strength of red ball cricket in South Africa. I mean, we obviously still have quality cricketers and players that I'm sure will still, get an opportunity at an international level and showcase how good they are. So I wouldn't like to lose a format. Like I say, I work hard on all three, and would like to play all.
Okay.
I love that. I love the fact that red ball is important. It's always good to hear that from a player. One more from me. If you see all these formats going around at the moment, there's T10s, there's hundreds, and there's T20 blasts, and all around the world, and everybody's coming up with their own version of these shorter competitions. Is there one of them that you would quite like to down the road have a go at? Something like the 100 or something like that? Would that be something interesting to you?
I mean, they're all interesting. I don't think I would pinpoint one. It would be awesome to get into something like that. I mean, it would be awesome to get into, obviously, our own local competition now. But I mean, these things are, fiercely contended, and there's quality cricketers around the world. So, and players that have probably played those formats a bit more than I have, in fairness, and I have been around the circuit a bit longer. So, I'm sure the opportunities will come, down the line. Obviously, you need to put in good performances and big performances, and hopefully get recognised.
Yeah. Look, I know you will get recognized, and I think that's where we're going to probably end it here. Grant, I wish you all the best, my man. I know you are very humble in your achievements, but you've done so much, and you need to be. You will be acknowledged, and I believe so. I think you're on that cusp of the next group of young batters that we'll all be looking forward to see to wear the green and gold. So don't lose heart. Just keep fighting. Keep doing the hard work. You've done so well so far, and whenever I know the Lions come to Durban or you come up to the Wanderers, I'm always afraid of you and how many runs you're going to score. So you're the first guy I want out. But on the other side, I actually want you to score runs too. I think there was a game at the start of what is it? The season you won at the beginning of that. And I think it was during COVID. And I think one of my friends was at the stadium and you had bowled out the Lions cheaply. And I was sitting there going, oh Lord, this is going to be a tough day. But yeah, and that's who you are. And I think, you, as humble as you are, we love to see that. I think your stock is rising and everyone's acknowledging your efforts.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I second everything Paul just said.
Yes, we are so afraid of you. Don't worry, like Grant. We are so
Thank
afraid.
Appreciate it.
But we love it, and those are obviously I'm a Lions board and he supports Western Province. We love domestic cricket, and that's what we do here. So we're looking forward to seeing your performances. We're looking forward to see you score lots of runs this season, and just want to say thank you very much for availing yourself for us, and wish you all the best in the future. And hopefully, when you come to Johannesburg, or if I ever make my way down to your side of the world, we'll catch up over a beer or something and just chat.
Yep.
Thank you very much for joining us, Grant.
Cheers, guys.
Awesome. Have a nice day. Cheers.
Cheers, Grant.
Bye.
Thanks.
And yeah, Tim, that was a great conversation. Another up and coming batter. If you're trying to find out, like, this is my thing, right, Tim? I'm like, I look at how the Proteas are performing in ODIs and in Test match cricket. And then everyone goes, where's the next crop coming from? And then I'm like, but guys, the Full Quarter podcast is like showcasing all the batsmen in that line. The only person you need to get is Janaman Malan, and we're like sorted. Because we have Mark Ackerman. but Grant for me, Grant for me is an option. From that wicketkeeper batting thing, if Kyle doesn't work out.
It's why I asked him about the wicket-keeping. I wanted to know if it was a serious thing or whether it was just because the Dolphins wanted him to be wicket-keeping. I'm glad that he sees it as an important part of who he is, because there's an opening there.
It's not far away.
Secured. Yeah,
it's not far away. It really isn't. Even in that ODI side, it's not far away. And another wicketkeeper out of Cares. Thank you very much, King Edwards. We love you. Yeah. We've had it. The other one is Quinton de Kock, if you're wondering. But yeah, look, thank you very much for that. And obviously to our listeners and the people who are watching, that's the next best talent in South Africa. This is the guy who's in that next group, may not be well known, may not be well seen, but I'm glad that his talents have been shown to the UK market, because I think sometimes you just need that to kind of push you in. We saw Vian Mulder's runs in the London One Day Cup. Maybe that's the spark, Saro went into the UK, played there. A lot of our other guys had stints in the UK, came back, and they looked good. Parnell did the same, as you rightly mentioned. And so, so I'm really excited. Thank you very much for that, Tim. So just to close out the show, remember, you can subscribe to our channel. You can also support us on Patreon. You can also subscribe and follow us on Anchor. We're also on Spotify. We're also on Apple Podcasts. So those are the three kind of bigger platforms that you can follow us from an audio version, if you want this audio version as well. The season is starting soon, in like a week's time, the domestic season. So we'll be ready to cover that and talk about all of that like we did last season, go through who's done what, who's done where, who's gone where. And then we actually do need to do a preview show sometime to discuss who's moved where, because the people need to know.
Yeah,
but we are going to, our next episode will be sometime on Thursday, hopefully loading on a Thursday evening, to just discuss this auction, to discuss what's going on in SA20 and who's gone where, because there's some players who I'm like, guys. No, man.
There's something's going on at the moment. People will know by the time they listen to this. Something's going on at the moment that's causing a lot of friction, and it's I can't hear it, but teams are discussing together, and it's all centered around Donovan Ferreira. Now, you and I both know Donovan Ferreira, huge talent. Current bid is at 5.5 million. It was
so now we've recorded this on Monday evening.
Yeah, it was 5.6. Now it's gone to 5.5. I think that's what's caused the problem. I could be wrong. It just looks like they're not a happy camp at the moment. But anyway, we will discuss that on Thursday.
When people watch this, it'll be the day after, and then they'll probably know what happened with the Don for everything. So, well, that's what it is. That's the world we live in. But thank you very much, Tim. Thank you very much, Grant. And yeah, we'll be back at the end of the week to discuss the Don Ferrer confusion and whatever's happened in this SA20. Outside of that, thank you very much, Tim, again for this podcast and organizing the interview. And we'll see you guys on the other side. Goodbye, good night, and let's silence.